So welcome you all to our Connecting with Your Sphere. And super excited today because with today, we do have a special guest and we will be talking and having a conversation with Lisa Jordan, cultivating client relationships with Pop-Bys. There's Lisa.
Hey, hi everyone.
So before we get started on talking with Pop-Bys, we'd like to learn a little bit more about those of you that are in this session with us and just finding out kind of where you are at with your business. My name is Cyndi Lesinski and I'm a team leader and we're based out of Los Angeles. And basically I've been involved with doing Pop-Bys and working my sphere since nearly first getting into real estate. And we'd like to kind of find out where you're located at and how long you've been in business, and if Pop-Bys and working your sphere, if you feel like you're a novice, if you're more experienced and just looking for more ideas. So I'm going to just go down by how I see people on the screen, and hopefully you will be willing to unmute yourself and share a little bit about your experience. So let's start with Richard.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm in Prescott, Arizona. About 22 years in the business. Never done a Popeye.
Good.
I'm not sure I will. Most of my business actually comes from my sphere of influence is other realtors.
Nice. Well, I think we'll have some ideas for you too. And it's good to know that you've never done them, but you're here and willing to learn and take some of this knowledge and be able to potentially put it to use, whether you do the actual Pop-Bys or just some other creative ideas that come out of it. Next, I see Mary Williams.
Hi, I'm in the North Dallas, Texas area, and I've been in real estate. It will be 8 years at the end of the year here. I mainly work with my business is referrals, clients, SOI, and I have done Pop-Bys in the past. 2024, I did not do any Pop-Bys, and I am rethinking that for 2025, implementing it once again in my business plan. So that's why I'm jumping on. I've had a couple of my individuals in my SOI that had asked me about those little gifts I would drop by, they didn't receive anything this year. So that's what has made me rethink this whole Pop-By gifts for next year.
Right. Good. Well, thank you for joining us. And I hope that we'll provide you with some good information that will help you make those plans for next year. Jennifer.
Hello, I'm Jennifer, and I live in the Santa Clarita Valley, Los Angeles, California area, and I am part of Cindy's team, woohoo! And I've been in real estate for 2.5 years, coming up, or almost 3. And I've done several Pop-Bys with my farm here and there, but I would love to get, more ideas on, different types of Pop-Bys, especially, with the holidays coming up. It'd be great to get more ideas and, get out there. So thank you.
Great. Thank you and welcome. Tanya.
Hey, I'm Tanya Colon. I am in the Charlotte metro area, Mount Holly to be exact, in North Carolina. And I am very, very new. I've been a part of real estate since September. I've had my license for a couple of years, but I stayed inactive. I was a little bit shaky on when I wanted to jump in. And so here I am. As far as Pop-Bys, I haven't done any, but I have a very large sphere of network and friends. So I just want to get an idea, maybe some other ideas besides what I already have up here.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And I'm sure you'll be getting some great ideas. And Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina Abbott, and I live in the very northern part of California, way up here in the mountains. It's Alaskan County, Susanville, and I am really, really new. So I just joined Real about 4 weeks ago. So I've been going through the 12-week program, but I'm here to learn all the various ways that I can grow my business in my area. So I'm really happy to be here with you.
Great. Well, welcome to Real and welcome to real estate as well. And hopefully some of these ideas that we shared today will be helpful to you and to everybody that's listening and part of it live, as well as anybody that ends up rewatching this session. If you all would also like, you're welcome to go ahead and put your information in on the chat as to your name and the location that you're in. And that could be very helpful to everybody in the future. And so now let's go back to sharing, if I can do that quickly. And let me introduce Lisa Jordan. If you would like to share just the real basics at first, Lisa, about yourself, your location and all of that, that would be great.
Sure. I am in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I have been a realtor for 3 years, 4 years. And it basically started because my husband, he's the powerhouse of the real estate. He's got ADTV show, if you've been in real estate for a while, you know what ADTV is, and he goes all around town filming all the things, and he just blew up with his real estate business and came home one day and was super frazzled, like, I need a showing agent. And so I snuck behind his back and literally did the 168-hour course and got my license and was like, ta-da, I can be your showing agent. Let's keep it in the family. And so that's how my evolution of becoming a realtor happened. I'm primarily a personal trainer, a gym owner, and I was a teacher for 17 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So Colorado Springs.
That's exciting in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
Wonderful. Our special guest. So our topic today is maximizing client connections with Pop-Bys. And, Lisa and I connected through what was our workplace and now will be Work Vivio that we have with Real. And we connected on the basis of working our sphere and the Pop-By ideas. And she was gracious enough to say yes to being a guest and sharing some insights and strategies and creative ideas on working your sphere. So with that, I do have a few questions and things to help our discussion. And we would like this to be participation as well. And at the end, we'll really be fully open to questions and even further discussion. So with this first aspect of things, strategies and planning, who do you target for Pop-By clients? And kind of mixed with that potentially is scheduling those Pop-Bys. So Lisa, how do you decide which clients to target for Pop-Bys?
Okay, so first of all, we do two different. We farm and then Pop-Bys, and we consider those different. So our farming clients would be like neighborhoods that we want to try to get into, or newer neighborhoods, new build neighborhoods. So our farming system is really just identifying some of the bigger more transient neighborhoods. Colorado Springs is very military, so we've got like 5 bases. So we really target around the bases. So I guess depending on where you live and areas that might have some more turnaround or more transition, we farm those areas, and they get like a little, maybe like a postcard. Like I'll make a little postcard, and then they might get just something small, like a keychain or something seasonal, $2 or less, because if you're farming a neighborhood that's got 50, 100, 150 houses, that really racks up the marketing bill pretty quickly. So they'll get something pretty small. Sometimes if it's a really big neighborhood, we'll even go And we'll do something we can just print, like a fall scavenger hunt. We did this year. We did a bucket list where it was like jump in some leaves, carve a pumpkin, and we just wrapped that up and tied it off. I have 4 children, and so they get tasked out to do work. So that's one of my tips and tricks is rally the troops when you have these mass quantities of things. Everyone loves to gather around and help somebody, especially if you give them candy or, if it's adults, beer and pizza and wrap up stuff for my farming sphere. But so farming is different. We look for transient neighborhoods. We also look for older generational neighborhoods that might be ready to sell their home and, moving on to assisted living or something. So we try to find like a topic to the neighborhood, like a vibe of the neighborhood that might be looking for, real estate selling or buying. So that's farming. Pop-Bys, we stick to our past client in Pop-Bys. So we have about 156 or something like that past clients in town. So we'll farm gifts, $5 or under. We need to keep it tight so that it's not expensive. And then we do try to send out to the best of our ability. We use Fusion. I don't know if anyone's heard of Fusion. It's it's like keep in contact with your sphere that has moved. You get them all of the addresses, and they'll drip campaign emails for you for your out of staters or out of towners that have moved. They'll send little postcards or mailers or things like that. You can kind of pick from what you want and theme it, and then they'll do it. It's a monthly service.
Okay, nice. And with your sphere, with what you were saying, you kind of calculate like who lives in that closest proximity to one another, so that when you are doing actual Pop-Bys and dropping them off to their homes, do you strategize? Okay, this day I'm gonna hit these 20 people. This other day I'm hitting 10 people.
So I pulled up, I don't know if anyone can see this. It's page 1 of 6 of our in-town clients that I have. It's an ongoing fluid document now, but that I have quadranted out. Colorado Springs is a really long rectangle shape. So it's like, here's northwest, here's northeast, here's central, here's southeast or southwest, southeast, and I'll hit a quadrant a day. So it takes me maybe a week to 10 days, depending on if I don't do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but then again, I task out, I bring kids, put them in the back, mass produce, the Pop-Bys do take me a couple of weeks, but I love it. I'm a former teacher, so being crafty and finding bargains or right up a teacher's alley, right? And so we will, like, the kiddos will get in the back. That saves time for me having to get out of the car, go to the doorstep, get back in the car, move on to the next, get out of the car. So the kiddos just take turns. If anyone has kids, awesome. If not, if you got a bestie husband, you can, trick them with like, hey, I'll bring you to steak afterwards, but you got to hang tight with me for 5 days and just go around town. Whatever you can do. We have, I don't know if you guys have services, but we have something called the on-call assistant here. And this is really good for your newer agents too, just to immerse them in real estate, is to task them out and do the Pop-Bys as well. But we pay like $15 or $20 an hour for on-call assistants when we personally don't have the time. And they just drive around and they drop them off for us.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's called the on-call assistant. We now have Kaylee, which is my stepdaughter. She's 20 and she's getting into real estate. So we're like, work from the bottom of the totem pole up. So Pop-Bys, you're delivering them for us, kind of thing. So if you have kiddos that are a little bit older or someone that's looking for, some easy money, you can task them out to do it. It's really, like I said, rallying the troops to help. I'm not like a one-man job per se.
I think that's an important aspect of when you're looking at stepping it up to doing the amount of Pop-Bys that you could be doing, that you have to realize you may need a little bit of help with it. But if it becomes too overwhelming, just start with your top 20. Just
Yes.
create a list of your top 20, because doing your top 20 of your main cheerleaders, the people that will refer you if they're taught on how to refer you, and if you stay in front of them with doing the Pop-Bys, you can start with 20. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be 100. It doesn't have to be
No.
200.
And let me say, like, when I first started this, because like I said, my husband is the powerhouse. So I generally find that men are like, absolutely not. I am not creating a gift and putting a little bow on it. I don't know how. I don't have that, that creative bug in me. So I'm just not. So that was my husband until he had joined a Sphere kind of podcast or whatever. And he was like, we have to start. It's very important. I'm like, okay, I'm on it. So that was kind of, I turned more into the client concierge, they call me, on the team. I'm like team mom, kind of taking care of a lot of the other aspects like this Pop-By stuff. But we started and he was like, yes, we have to do it once a quarter. And so the first time I ever did it, I'm like, cool, that took 5 days. Okay. And then before I knew it, like the next quarter was up and I'm like, absolutely not. Like what, for the amount of people we have, once a quarter is not attainable. So we've gone to just twice a year. So that way we can save up and we can make them a little more amped up. We don't have to, keep them $5 or less per se. But like Cyndi said, like make it attainable for you. If you're a mass producer, pick your top whoever that are going to support you. Or what we've done is if we know we're going to a certain area of town, we might not do it all in a week. We know we have to go up north. That's like a 30-minute drive for us. We'll just kind of set those aside and be like, hey, we're going up north next week. Let's just set an extra 30 minutes in our route and hit those 10 houses that are up there. So we just make it work for your life and your lifestyle. There's really no correct way, I would say, to do this.
I like how you added in there that you do have it kind of as a set schedule, but you also allow the flexibility to know when there are people that are out of a little further out of your main service area, and to have those. So maybe keeping Pop-Bys in the
In my
trunk of the
trunk.
car. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden you find yourself near
Mhm.
somebody's home and you have one of those Pop-Bys that you can just write their name on it and
Yes.
drop it off and make that delivery.
Yes. And if you guys are serious in wanting to start Pop-Bys, I have a route planner and I know there's tons of them. But the one I use is called Straightaway. It's an app on my phone. And I think you get like up to maybe 50 or 30 addresses for free. But then after that, it's a paying app based on the echelon of addresses you want to add into your route. So I just put the starting route as my house and then the ending as my house. You need to have a start and an end, kind of a blanket there. And then you just add addresses. You add addresses. So I just take a day and I put a movie on or whatever, sit on the couch and I just add addresses from my little planner sheet that I've made. And I save the route. And so every time you stop at a route, you can put a check mark like you've done it. And so then it moves you to the next one. And I just put that in my GPS on my phone. So I just type in the number and it usually auto populates the address because I'm so close to that house. It's the first address that comes up and just click it in and then I'm off to the next one. And it'll save your route until you end the route. So on Monday, if I've only gotten through, 20 addresses or whatever, I can just pick back up where I left off on Tuesday or whatever day. Yeah. So straight away
And
is
I
what it's
must
called.
say, for a moment, I'm like route, because where I'm from, it's route.
Route.
So the beauty of working at a company like Real that covers all states, we do all have our little bit of slang that and I don't even know what way is the legitimate way.
I know roots are probably on trees, but I grew up in the Northeast, so roots and roofs and all the things.
Yes, well, I get called out for saying a lot of words wrong. I'm from Pittsburgh and we say where yin's from and different things.
Oh,
So,
like a
and
dialect.
yes, we have that. So part of what you were leading to as well is this next portion, which is creating the Pop-Bys, ideas and inspiration. And in this picture, we do have a couple of the things that you have created and that you put together. Where does your inspiration come from? And are you sometimes on, just on the basis of where we're at on holiday, or do you get specific on the basis of a particular client by really personalizing a Pop-By for a specific client versus having 30 or 40 items made to pass out to everybody?
We don't normally personalize the Pop-Bys because they're kind of a mass production. And when I have my kiddos involved, it's literally a conveyor line of, someone puts this in, then the next person, then the next person, and they all have their little items that they put in there. But it's more so I'm so ingrained into the little catchphrases that are super cute on the cards that if I'm walking by something, like literally I was just at Walmart and they had one of those head scratchy things, right? For like $1.50. So I look at price and then I look at like usability of it because I try to stay away from tons of candy, tons of kind of useless things, I guess, although they do become fillers, in the Pop-Bys. But I look at price and then usability. And then if I can, off the top of my head, pop a cute saying, like the head scratcher was like, are you scratching your head about, buying or selling? I can help. It's just as easy as that. And I'm like, oh, there's one. I'll pick that up. It's only $1.50, super affordable. And they have just mass quantities of them right now because of the holidays. So I don't necessarily look for the Pop-By. I just let it come.
Yeah, a lot of times that's how I work with the Pop-Bys that I've done. I've been going like at Christmas time. I've often done just an actual stocking stuffer type thing with a small little stocking. But I've also done extension cords. It seems to be
Yeah,
you're always looking
practicality.
for an extension cord. So, and I would just look up, but now I'm starting to use the AI for my cute little, like, what
Yes.
do I want to put with an extension cord? I would search that on
Mhm.
AI, which is starting to help the Pop-By process for me be a little simpler, because a lot of times I will see something like that extension cord and then I lose my steam of, but I don't know what to put on the little card. What do I want to put on it? Um, I've often leaned into Brian Buffini because that's where I really did a lot of my coaching and got a lot of the guidance on doing Pop-Bys. And they have a slew of options of things. So if you're not creative yourself to come up with the ideas, there's so many different options and resources available to help you come up with the ideas.
I'm glad you said AI because I'm forever standing in front of an item going, give me a cute tagline to go with a head scratcher for a realtor gift. And that AI will normally, if you say realtor or something, they'll throw something about a house or something about buying. So smart in there. And then I'll say, try again until I find one that I like. I'm like, okay, that'll work. Yep, this will be a good Pop-By. That's cute kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the process that we're starting to use. A lot of times, I find, and not get into a lot with the AI, but when I'll put it in, I'll then say, update it with a little kindness, add a
Yes.
flair of funny,
Right.
like to try to dictate the AI to get, if it's an item that's going to be cute and funny and they just stick with it being a serious business statement, I'll say add a funny, quote with it.
I'll say make it into a pun or something like that.
Yes,
Or
great.
play on the words of realtor and head scratching. Yeah.
Yep. I
Yeah.
think that's an important factor with that. So you come up with, we've talked about, who, and for
Mhm.
those of you that are, newer at this, put together a list of 20, even 10,
Mhm.
10 to 20 people just to get started. If you've been in the business a little bit longer, you might have a good solid list of 40 people. Look at who you've already sold homes to, or who has already referred you, or just simply people that know that that would refer you.
And
So
Cyndi, if you have young children, you can always make something for the school staff. So I would consider that kind of like a mix between a farming and a pop-by, like because you're going to probably cater it to either seasonal if you're dropping it off around the holidays, or something teacher related, right? Or maybe your doctor's office, or we bring our dogs to the groomers, so we'll do something with the dog groomers, just so the clients can just take from a basket and it has just a cute card with a little scarf or a dog treat or something so simple in it, but just to get your name out there. So you can look at local businesses and schools and offices that you might frequent a lot and see if they'll allow you to put something in their office if you're a newer realtor and you don't quite have a sphere yet.
those are great ideas. And I know that in the past, we've also talked about what the business referral system is that you have. And I'm not sure if, oh, there you are, Richard. This is what I was wanting to kind of mention for Richard's purpose, because Pop-Bys aren't just for people that are looking at buying and selling, but also how are you treating the people that refer you business that are referral agents? One of the conferences I go to, there's a guy that's known as the back scratcher guy, because he shows up at every conference with the back scratcher and gives every agent that back scratcher. And so he has developed a great referral business from agents across the country by having his Pop-By that is a back scratcher.
Mhm.
And treating your business affiliates, they're people too. They own a house. They know people that are going to move. I get referrals from businesses that know a lot of realtors because of the way I treat those businesses with Pop-Bys. And it is an opportunity, especially for newer agents that may not have that list of people to put in, but who do know the teachers and do go to church or go to a coffee shop regularly, and you could treat your baristas. See, I can't say that. And anybody that you see on a regular basis needs to be treated with kindness with the Pop-By, without saying, hey, I'm a realtor,
Yeah.
use me. But hey, this is something I put together for Halloween and just thought I'd share it with you. And it happens to have a tag on it that does have your information about you as a realtor, and a funny little pun that is put on there. So, yep.
And
So,
Cyndi, I also wanted to mention back to your, like, how do I create these Pop-Bys? If you have a smidge of available funds after holiday clearance, that's like 75 to 90% off. Hobby Lobby's phenomenal for it. Walmart, when they go down to 75% off, I just look for things in mass quantities, and I have just a little room in my basement that's just got shelves, and I just store it there. So if you are able to kind of think ahead and remember ahead, I put a little note in my phone when that season is coming. It's a reminder that comes up on my calendar that says, hey, don't buy anything because you already have thankful pumpkins because you bought them. Like this little guy, this pumpkin, I
yeah,
got for like 22 cents or something. They're like 90% off at a Hobby Lobby. And I just bought, I don't know, 68 of them or whatever it was. I just bought them all out and then went to the other Hobby Lobby on the other side of town and bought them all out. And I'm like, perfect. There I go. That's the basis of that Pop-By. Now I'll just work around it. And it was only, 22 cents. So if you can think ahead and store them, that's
yeah.
another great little tip.
One of my favorite things to do like that is after Christmas, I buy all the M&Ms and I separate them with gloves and everything. And I
Oh.
separate them, and then I have red M&Ms for Valentine's Day
Oh my
and
goodness.
green M&Ms for St. Patty's Day.
You're so smart.
And you get
That's
them like so much cheaper. I used to try
yeah.
to like go on and buy them on the M&M store, and they're so expensive to get specifically red ones or specifically green ones.
Mm,
So it's one of my little tips on that, because
yes.
you do want to make sure your Pop-Bys are affordable and it's not going to cost you a lot to do, especially early on. I do use a program right now that I send an item of value out that's about $10 to my top 100 people. So they get something every 3 months. It's through Client Giant. And so
Heard of
that's
them.
big item of value, but I do a good book of business that it affords me the ability to do that. But early on, I just stuck with $1. My Pop-Bys were $1 or less, and it was my time and effort of dropping them off to people that were in my top 200 list. So I would do 200 every 2 months, basically. Mine was on an every 2 month basis. So let's jump to impact and results and tracking those results. So what kind of response have you received from doing your Pop-Bys? And what type of engagement, client engagement, have you experienced by doing these types of Pop-Bys?
You know, we put a little blurb on the back of the Pop-By that says, "Hey, text me when you get this," just to make sure that you get it, kind of thing. And we get about, I would say, like 30%. We don't get everyone texting us that we get that they get them, but we get about 30 some odd percent. And it's my husband. It goes to my husband's number, not mine. Or my husband will get messages that say like, "Your wife is so cute," like, because I'll run up, because I personally don't have time to stop and speak to every single person. But I do encourage you, if you have a small amount of people you're dropping off to make a personalized touch like that if you can, and just say, "Hey, it's just me, just dropping the gift off. How's the dog? How's the kids? Whatever." Um, but I do not have that time. There was one person when we sent my daughter out, she put it on the wrong doorstep, and the neighbor came and brought it, and we did get a kick out of that, because she was like, "What are you trying to get rid of me as a client? You're never going to get rid of me." So it's really, it's nice to see that people appreciate the gifts, but I would caution to not expect to hear from every single person that you give them to. But not to quit on them either. Like, I've dropped off a gift to this house for 5 years and not heard a single thing from them. But it's about us and our reputation too, and letting them know that we're always here for them if they ever need us. So we don't have a tracking system that's like, tally mark on every person, how many times have they, but we just give them that little blurb on the back that encourages them to let us know that they received it. So
One
that
of the
probably,
things,
Cyndi, could be an area of improvement for us, is to figure out how to track it somehow.
yeah, that is somewhat of, my challenge as well, is tracking it, other than seeing eventually when I look at my closings, okay, how many were referrals from the people that I'm in touch with?
Mhm.
And as soon as I started my Client Giant, I realized I was skipping a couple people, and I put them into that. As much as it was like a little question, I haven't been in touch as much as I should. And should I really make sure, like, I'm sending them a $10 item, are they going to feel weird about this even? But after my second one went out, I got a referral of somebody that I listed a house in Sherman Oaks and sold them a house in Newhall, in California. So, and it was nearly a total of $2 million transaction. So I'm like, okay, that blew my
Yeah,
client.
your $10 is well worth it. Yeah.
So, but one of the things that I did start to do though, in that adjustment of, am I going to ring the doorbell and actually talk with them? Um, Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It depends on my time period. But one of the things that I do that I have found great success in adding extra communication is when I put it on their front door or wherever I set it, I snap a picture and I text them and I say, hey, I hope you're doing good. I left you a little goodie at your front door. And then a lot of times, we end up having, back and forth texting communication, sometimes for 2 days, sometimes just, 3, 4 messages. And they a lot of times will say, hey, I know to refer you. Thank you for the goodie. And sometimes they don't mention that. And I'll say, just so you know, there's a new listing in your neighborhood. So if you do know anybody that wants to move to your neighborhood, let me know. I'd be happy to show them that home. So trying to add extra information in there where it's not just about the Pop-By, but I'm giving them some value, because then they may say, oh, I didn't know that got listed. How much is it? And they want to know what's going on in their neighborhood. So engaging them further by whatever else you're going to communicate with them in that text.
Right. And I love that you do that, Cyndi, because my clients are my husband's clients. I don't have their phone number and their contact information. So I literally can't take the picture and send the text. But if you are the one dropping them off to your clients, then I think that is an extremely valuable, quick 5 seconds. It doesn't take long. That can, like you said, bring conversation and referral or information presented to them. So
Right. Well, I'm going to challenge you to do a group text with your husband and them. Start to figure out how
how to
you
incorporate it.
equally have their phone number, and you do a group text where you text it and he's in there and he could say, oh, my lovely wife dropped this off at your front door. She works with me now, and get them to be introduced to you as, his team member, but you're doing a group text. And then he could say, by the way, after dropping it off, we did look up in your neighborhood and there's a new listing that's 1 block over from you listed for this amount,
I'll have
however.
to export all of his contacts.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a big task.
It's not a problem though. We got it.
Yeah. So either that or you just text him the picture and then he texts independently of you and saying, hey, our team just dropped this off for you. Hope you're doing well. So
Could you imagine him getting 120 texts over 5 days? Here's all the pictures. He'd be like, oh my God.
right.
I think the
Right.
group text would be way more appropriate, and it's
Yeah.
very easy to just export the contacts. But
Yep. So
yeah.
just an idea, because I have found, for me working with the sphere, what we often talk about is not going deep, or I'm sorry, not going wide, but going deep with the relationships. And I'm finding, as I've adjusted through the years of how I get connected with my sphere, that is helping with a deeper connection.
Yes.
So with the results in your business, your husband's business, do you have an idea of what percentage of his business does come from working his sphere?
I don't. I couldn't tell you because he's got like several spheres. So he also is a CEO of Mill Estate, so it's Military Real Estate Network. So he's got like 165 agents all across the country that are active duty or retired or military spouse. So that sphere, our personal sphere in town, he's also got the 719 Veterans Home Team where we partner with our local veterans service. So he's got that sphere. So I don't have data, depending on where you're from, right? that says which one of these clients is Mill Estate or 719 or just from our personal sphere, and did they return? I don't have that data.
Okay.
It would be another definite sit down spreadsheet to decipher it all.
Right.
It'd be
Perfect.
interesting. It'd be very interesting to see, though, for sure.
Well, you obviously know that in some degree this really works because you take the time and effort to go out, do the pop-bys, drop-offs, and stay connected with the people in and around your community. So what additional advice and tips do you have to share with everybody about working this type of sphere service of Pop-Bys?
I would say you have to love to be crafty. I would say organization is key. Like when I get supplies, I put them in a bag. And so I keep all of the supplies. Like this is one idea for a Pop-By here, so that I can replicate it come time. I do have things organized in my basement kind of seasonally, so I can easily access materials. You have to not be afraid to kind of store up. Like I have tons of flowers and ribbons and all the things that make it cute. And just commit. I think commit to a schedule that you want to do it. Maybe you're just going to do it once a year, and that's easily trackable because you'll see if those people write you back or text you back or whatever. And if you find that there's a more percentage than not that respond to you, maybe increase it to something that's attainable for you financially, your mental bandwidth on driving around town and dropping them all off. Financially, creatively, storage wise in your house. It's I find it very, very fun.
Yeah.
And love Temu or Timu or however you pronounce it and Sheen. They're my
Yes.
best friends. I made this little guy from
Oh.
Sheen. It's Santa pants in a bag. It's adorable. And these
Oh.
are for more of our top clients. They do have Fireball, a little apple cider in them, and there's a little drink mix that I wrote up as a recipe. So kind of know your clients and what level of quality product you want to give them, based on like what Cyndi said, if they're your top referral cheerleaders. And use me, go to my YouTube channel and look at all the videos, get all the free templates from Canva. Canva is your friend. And I don't even have the paid Canva. I do everything on the free Canva so far.
And I have shared here too your
Yes.
personal Pop-By princess and gift box and that.
So I'm no client giant by any means, but because of the success of the Pop-Bys and posting on the Pop-By Facebook pages, if anybody is in those, there's like 2 or 3 pretty powerful Pop-By pages that have like millions of people that have subscribed to them. Well, not millions, probably thousands. It has spawned this personal Pop-By services. So I've got my first out-of-state client. I do work with a lot of agents in town, a good couple of handfuls, and I do their Pop-Bys for them. I don't deliver them, they go deliver them, but I do create them and drop them off to them at their offices or homes. But I have my first out-of-state client. So if anything that I've said or that you've seen is something that you may want me to create for you or do for you, I think Cyndi has put up on the page here that personal Pop-By princess services are about to unleash. And I'm only taking 5 people because I want to make sure that it's very personal between me and the realtor, with monthly planning phone calls. I really want to get to know the realtor, even though they're out of state, their ideas, what they want for their clients, handmade, how cute, how in-depth they want with their gifts. And I'll make them for you and ship them to you, and then you just go about your business, dropping them off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of that too. I'm very impressed with your YouTube channel as well, and just
That's a whole other story, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We didn't get to that too much, but you share some great ways of making different Pop-Bys. So everybody can also visit your YouTube channel. And if you want, go ahead in the chat message right now and drop your YouTube channel in there. Or Dana, do you have that? Could you put that in there for her? I think she'll probably put it in there for you. But and one of the things that Richard was talking about and Mary were talking about is just really that person-to-person conversation is always the most important. And that's where, you know, working with your sphere of going deeper rather than wide is so important. And with this conversation today, talking about just start with 20, 40 people that you really know that you can manage, going into deeper conversations and getting to know them, of how you can be helpful to them, because this isn't, honestly, it's not about you. It's, you know, this isn't all about like me. And if you're doing Pop-Bys and working your sphere to be all about yourself, then it is not going to be successful. This is about how do you serve people? How do you help people feel good? How do you help them with various things in their life? While you are doing Pop-Bys, you may find out through that conversation that they need help with something. They might need just a referral of a great plumber, a great electrician, or they may have somebody in their family that is sick and they need a prayer group, or they need somebody that will maybe send over a meal to a family that's in need. Through conversations with your sphere, you're going to find out how you can be of more assistance and helpful to them. And a lot of times with my Pop-Bys, I'm not as planned out with them as what I used to be, but when I am stopping by in person to talk with them, I'm asking the right questions about their life and what I can do to be helpful to them. So it is important that person-to-person conversation. And then how are you going to gently add it to the conversation about your business as to what you do as a realtor and how you could help anybody they know. If they want to refer them to you, you would be open to helping them. So I wanted to make sure that we brought light to that. I saw a little bit of that in the discussion of that face-to-face, because that's truly where you're going to get those referrals. But the way you have those face-to-face is getting in front of them with those Pop-Bys and whatever else it is that you can do to get in front of the people that know you, like you, trust you, and will use you. And I got to get out of saying the word use, because people don't use us. we
serve them.
We serve them. But you know, but only if you let them know how to do that. What questions, we are heading towards the end of time, other than that part of the conversation in the chat. We did get your YouTube channel up in the chat, so that's in there. What else? Oh, thank you, Cheryl. She said, I love
It's
it.
my tag.
It's all about serving our clients. It truly is. For December, Cheryl, you want to jump in and share that with the group?
Yeah, I'm sorry my video's not working today. I apologize. But yeah, I do a big client appreciation party in December, and it's called Santa at the Ranch. I have Santa Claus come. We do a pancake breakfast, hot chocolate bar, and then I have a reverse Pop-By, meaning I'm going to hand them out as they leave. But I did the Trader Joe's Advent calendars this year. They're like $1.29, I think. and then just put kind of a cute Pop-By tag on it. And for this month, I'm doing thankful jars, and they're super inexpensive. I just took little ball jars. They're about $1 each, and then put little slips of paper that I printed that says, I'm thankful for, and then, blank lines, and then a cute little fall pin, so that they can put it on their dining room table. And, as they're eating dinner with their families, they can kind of talk about what they're thankful for. So that's an easy, inexpensive thing too. I usually do 24 to 48 every month. So I just try to theme it for each month of the year. But anyway.
No, I like that. And then also you did mention about Buffini's route creator, which is really good. I know that Jennifer, she, I believe, still uses the Buffini CRM program, and that is a great way of creating your route of your sphere that you have in there.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you should
'cause
already have your
got-
address.
It's got the mobile app. So say you're in between a couple appointments, you've got 15 minutes and you've got Pop-Bys in your trunk. You can just pull up the app and it'll tell you where your A, B, C clients are location to you. So you can just zip over there, say hi, pop by, love on them, and then get to your appointment.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
amazing.
And have you been using that program for that purpose too?
Yeah, I've been using Referral Maker for, 15 years.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do you know the scratch guy?
Yes, I do.
I figured anybody that goes to the Buffini conferences would
Yeah.
definitely know him.
He's hilarious.
Yes.
I think he's getting close to retiring. He's so funny.
Wonder if
Ace-
somebody will pick up taking his scratcher to the next
Right?
after he retires.
Yeah.
Cyndi, just to reiterate, if anybody doesn't know where to begin on this, if you pop on my YouTube channel, all of the templates with my gifts that are on the channel, I think there's like 60 some odd gifts, and they just keep on coming because I post them weekly. The links to Canva are all in the description, and you just click on it. You just have to make a copy of it, but you can modify it, put your own silhouette in there. So if you don't want to reinvent the wheel on even the Canva templates, you can just steal them. They're free. Trying to help you guys make this easier for you. And I like doing it at the same time. So yeah, if you just click on one.
Oh, I'm just on our.
Oh, is that okay. I didn't know if that's just a picture. Okay, yeah, if
Yeah.
you just click on it, and then the link to Canva is right in the description, brings you to Canva, and then you just make a copy of the template and change it to your name, your phone number, your picture. You don't even have to change the wording or anything if it fits for you, and then hit it. Go
Wonderful.
for it.
I love that. So I hope that you all got the website, but we will also put this together and have it as a follow-up on our work Vivio. It will show up there, and then I will also have it on my website as one of our podcasts. So you'll be
Perfect.
able to re-listen to this and share it with anybody else that you know that would like to learn more about Pop-Bys.
And Richard, you just call me if you need some Pop-By personal princess Pop-By services. Okay, I got you.
Will do.
Any last questions from anybody? Anybody have something that they would like to share, a Pop-By experience, anything you'd like to share? Going once.
Hi, I'll share. Jennifer.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you. That was great. I loved it. I'm excited now, ready to, go create some Pop-Bys. And then I've also been using Referral Maker this whole time. I had no idea there was a map in
There
there.
you go.
So very cool. I was so with the on the YouTube, it shows if you want to make the little tags, you have those that takes you to Canva, and then you can just make those and go to a printing company and print them out. Okay.
Mhm. Canva has their own printing services too, kind of like a Vistaprint thing. I don't know. I've not ever used them, but
What
yeah, you
printing
literally. Oh, go
do you
ahead.
use? Vistaprint or?
I actually just email myself the template and then I go over to Office Max and I just have them print them for me. So I don't have to wait for shipping and stuff. I just right then and there we get a 10% off business discount or something. So
Very
I had
cool.
something to share selfishly. For 14 years also, I do email marketing for realtors around the country to their sphere of influence and or to other realtors. So if anyone's
Nice.
that's
Good
important
to
too.
know.
Touch them in all points. You get them digitally, get them personally. Yeah.
Yeah,
Text them, phone call
exactly.
them.
Perfect. Great. Anybody else? Jennifer, thank you for sharing that as well. And I'm glad you're going to be able to start to dig a little deeper in that CRM. And Richard, thank you for sharing that as well, because that's an important part. I think, you know, as I've been in the business for 20 some years, I understand that you really need to build your pillars and your foundation, and then your pillars of how you're going to really hold up what your house is, your real estate house of business. And it's important to always be looking at what pillars, staying in your own lane and staying focused. But once you achieve one of those pillars, you need to add to it so that you continue to build and grow. One of my strategies that I am currently using, and I started with saying fourth grader, but now I say sixth grader, that I need to make sure I stay current and knowledgeable of all the technologies and all the ways of building business so that I can sell a house to a current sixth grader. Now, when that current sixth grader, next year it's going to be a seventh grader, because eventually I need to retire. So using different sources of ways of serving the people that I work with, it's just a critical thing to stay up on the best practices. So I do appreciate, Lisa, you sharing all your practices of how to do Pop-Bys and working your sphere and your database, as well as a farm. And I have some great takeaways myself. I hope that all of you have some great takeaways. And Lisa, what are some parting words that you would like to share with everybody?
Go get those Pop-Bys. Like I think that they're very powerful.
Yeah,
Really do.
great. Well,
And have fun in creating them, because I get giddy. Like my husband, I'm like, oh my gosh, isn't this hilarious? Oh, I took it apart. I have one at the dollar store. I found a pan with like bacon and eggs. It's like a fake kitchen set for kids, and then a real pan and a real whisk. And I said, like, thanks a brunch for your referrals and your friendship. They're really baking me happy or something like that. And I was like, look at this is hilarious. It just brings
right.
us a lot of, in our house, it brings us joy. So I hope that you find that as well.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that participated today. Really appreciate you all checking in with us. I wish you peace, joy, and laughter through your days and through the holidays. And as I end every video that I do, and especially at this time of year, you got to remember to be kind, be nice, do an act of kindness that makes a difference in somebody's life. And it could be simply by holding a door open, giving a smile. It doesn't need to cost anything. So I wish you all a great one. Thanks for joining in today.
Thank you, guys. I left my phone number in the comments, so please feel free to text me with questions or ideas or anything.
Thank you, Lisa and Cyndi.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Cyndi and Lisa.
Bye, new friends.
Bye, new friends.
Bye, you all. Thank you. Thanks so much.